Guys, starting off the deck, we have got the Red Eyes and the Dark Magician, simply because obviously we are playing the Dark Magician. We are playing the Red Eyes Fusion for the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. We're running 3 copies of Ash Blossom. She's like one of the best like generic hand traps like this, and Droll, really great for the format. Depending on which decks you go up against, like Outlish, like Drytron, yeah, you might want to put like the Allied Justice, but for just like all-rounder decks to go up against, Ash Blossom and Droll are really the best. Basically just shuts your opponent down whenever they like tries to like add a card or like Red Eyes Fusion you. I am playing a little bit of Burning Abyss, like and we are playing Sir. Sir is of course like another extender. Basically, if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to resurrect a Burning Abyss from the grave. I normally resurrect Cherubini because then you're able to go into like Access Code Talker, you're able to go into Anaconda with it, and also if you want to, you can also use it with Masquerena to go into Link 4s or to go into like Appaloosa during your opponent's turn. We've got one copy of like Jackalope and Tuscanoka, I believe it's called. One of each of the dangers. They are limited to one sadly. So yeah, we've got I'm running one of each. Just great combo extenders. Basically, you always plus from them. Even if you pitch themselves or if they pitch a different card, you will always get a summon off the dangers. We're summoning one copy of Graph. Graph, say like really back in the day when Graph in 0-1. Graph, if this card is sent from the, if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Burning Abyss from your deck. Basically, it's going to be Sir or Libic. Normally, it's going to be Sir unless you hard draw the Sir. So sometimes you just have to go over it. Libic's there to like kind of fix that issue, but that's what it's all about. Oh yeah, I should quickly point out the Burning Abysses. You can special summon them if you control no spell or traps. The downside is you can only play the special summon or the graveyard ability. You can't play both during one turn. We've got 3 copies of Kagamucha Knight, simply because we are running enough. All of our monsters are running level 3s, so this is just an easy level 3 monster to special summon out. Then when you got 2 level 3s, you can go into Cherubini. That's the main reason why we do it. So basically, say you've got like Silent Boots and Kagamucha, you can still summon out both of them, and then you can go into like Cherubini and do whole plays. Got 1 copy of Libic. The reason why we're running Libic is because, like I say, if you hard draw Graph or Sir, this guy, if you send from the field to the grave, can special summon a Burning Abyss from your hand. So, like I say, it can kind of like, if you break and open up them, you can still summon the monsters. So say it's like, it's just kind of like trying to fix your hand if you manage to hard draw them. Psychic Tracker and Psychic Wielder, running one of each, they both basically have the same effect. If you control a level 3 monster, special summon them. They're legit just another combo extender for the deck, nice and easy. Phantom Knights, guys, we are running 2 Ancient Cloak. Basically, you can banish this guy to add any Phantom Knights card from your deck to your hand. It's got to say the Phantom Knight, so because the traps like Fogblade doesn't have the Phantom Knights in its name, you can't add Fogblade with Ancient Cloak. But it's great to add Silent Boots because you can just summon if you control a Phantom Knights monster. Running 1 copy of Ragged Gloves because if you banish Ragged Gloves from your grave, you can send one of your Phantom Knights card, like monster or trap, to the graveyard, and then obviously, like say, Fogblade has a graveyard ability where you can like resurrect. So if you want another extender, you can send like a Fogblade to the grave. So you like whichever one of your Phantom Knights in the grave, summon it and have a nice day. 2 copies of Silent Boots. If you control a Phantom Knights monster, special summon this. This even works if you control Shade Brigadier, because it's classed as a monster when you play it. So this is just another extender, and it's got the best ability where you can banish it from your grave to add a Phantom Knight spell or trap from deck to your hand. So you can easily add Fogblade or Shade Brigadier. Shade Brigadier if you want a combo extender, Fogblade just for another monster negate. 3 copies of Torn Scale. Torn Scale, absolutely beast of a bad boy. This guy's a 1-card starter. Like just alone, he's a 1-card starter. Like say you don't get Tour Guide and do other plays, Torn Scale alone can do everything. So you normal summon Torn Scale. Torn Scale's ability lets you discard any 1 card to a Phantom Knights monster or Phantom Knights card from your deck to the graveyard. So you can just discard any card. I normally send Ancient Cloak because then you can banish Ancient Cloak, add Silent Boots, summon out the Silent Boots. Then you can go into like Cherubini, do your Cherubini plays. Then this guy's got a graveyard ability where if any Phantom Knight card is banished, special summon this bad boy. So then if you want another combo extender, you just banish the Silent Boots, add a spell, add one of the traps to your hand. Because the monster is banished, this guy gets summoned. So here you go. All around, fantastic. Like Torn Scales, absolutely fantastic for this deck. 3 copies of Tour Guide, simply because, again, another combo extender. Like Tour Guide, you can summon out a level 3 Fiend from your deck. So basically, summon out Livic, Chir, or Graf, and so really great. Then we've got 3 copies of Droll. Droll's just another like fantastic like generic hand trap. It's because you can go up against like Drytron. This shuts it down. Virtual World, it kind of hinders them a little bit as well. But a lot of decks like to search. So Droll alone can just shut them down. So that's why we're running this. Magic guys, we're running Monster Reborn for a combo extender because it's just a free combo extender. Why would you not? Running Red Eyes Fusion because I didn't know this until I did some research on PKs. Every single person playing PK runs Red Eyes Fusion. I'm guessing it's just for another negate on top of everything that the deck can do. So why not? Like if you hard draw Red Eyes Fusion, yeah, you can play it and summon out the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon if stuff goes amiss. But you realistically don't want to see it because you can send it off Anaconda. So yeah, we've got the wrong copy of Roller just because it can search out Torn Scales and it can search out any one of our Phantom Knight monsters. We're running one Core Buy because obviously there is hand traps. So if you get I say the only monster you've got in your hands Torn Scales and you don't really have no more extenders. If say you get like Ash Blossomed, Core Buy of the Grave can really be your saving grace because you can just remove the Ash Blossom from play, then legit negate its effect. Really great. We've got 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet. Droplet is legit a freaking great card to main. Because say you're going up against a Dragoon player, you just Droplet the Dragoon. They're going up against a Drytron deck, you just Droplet the Vanity Ruler or the Ultimateness. Have a nice day. You go up against a Virtual World and they play VFD, Droplet the VFD. Whichever you go up against, like boss monsters, you can just Droplet and then you literally can just do your plays. That's why Droplet's really great. And then say if you discard a monster with Droplet, they can't respond with monster effects. So GG's boys. Then traps, I'm running 1 copy of Shade Brigadine and then 3 Fog Blade. Shade Brigadine is a extender because if you control no trap space, if you just don't have Fog Blade in your grave, you can play Brigadine the turn you set it. And Brigadine also is classed as a normal monster. So if you want to go into like Anaconda, you just link summon it off for Link Spider. Then Link Spider is an effect monster, you can go into Anaconda. And other than that, it's classed as a Phantom Knights card, so you can summon Silent Boot, stuff with it, and it's just great all around combo extender. Then Fog Blade, like say, this is just a great card. Like if you can target 1 monster on the field, negate its effects. Also, it can't attack, and also it can't attack or be attacked. So this just this alone. Not only does it stop a monster effect, it also stops them from attacking, and this card search for in like 3 or 4 different freaking ways. It's really great, and you can banish this card from your grave to summon a Phantom Knights monster from the grave. So also on top of everything else, it's a monster reborn from the deck. Just really great. Onto the extra deck, guys. So we're running 1 copy of Dragoon. Dragoon is a nerd of badass. So it's just a non-negate. Once per turn, if your opponent does anything, discard a card. Great. It can't be targeted, can't be destroyed by card effects. So it's like your opponent, like to out this, has to play specific stuff like droplets or like a kaiju or stuff like that. So on your end board, having like Fog Blades, Dragoon, and then Appaloosa, really great. Running 1 copy of Evil Storm Nightmare simply because Breaksword can increase your Phantom Knights levels to make them level 4. And Nightmare is great going up against like Outlich and like the grind game and stuff like that. Because if your opponent summons a monster, you can just flip it face down. So especially when you're up against Outlich, when they flip face down, or the Conquistadors and Hakureros do jack crap. Again for that kind of stuff, we're using Time Thief Reader. Again, if you go up against Outlich and that kind of stuff, just trap decks, you can go into this guy, and then it gets an effect based on what overlay units it has. But if you have a trap, you can bounce 1 card your opponent has back into the deck. So that's why it's really great going up against like going up against like trap heavy decks. We've got Living Near the Sea Dragon, just a great combo extender. Summon one of your banished like Phantom Knights monsters, bring them back, another combo extender. Got 2 copies of Breaksword because you can pop Breaksword on 1 card your opponent has. Then if you've got 2 Phantom Knight monsters in the grave, you bring them back. So not only do you pop a card, you get 2 monsters instead of 1. So then you can just keep combering off, as well as getting around the opponent's monster. Links, we're running access code talker for game, and also it can pop cards. This guy alone can out Dragoon because you can just, like say you bait out the Dragoon, this guy can just go up to like 4,000 plus attack points, so it can out the Dragoon by battle. And also when you try and do its pop ability, your opponent cannot do anything to respond to Access Code Talker's ability. We've got Appaloosa because I like to go IP Anaconda during your opponent's turn to go into like Appaloosa, because then on top of like Dragoon and your Fog Blade, you've got another 2 monster negates. So all around you've got a lot of monster negates for Appaloosa. Or you can do like IP Unicorn. So instead of doing the monster negates, you can do Unicorn to pop to bounce back an opponent's card. So instead of having like another 2 monster negates, you can just have an interruption. Really great, depending on what you need to do for the situation. We've got Rusty Bardiche, absolutely broken. I'm so glad we're playing Rusty again. So you can go in this with Cherubini and then like Graph that you or Cherubini like Sir, what you would normally do. Then because you need 2+ dark monsters, Cherubini is dark and so is the Graph. Also Graph and Sir, whatever. So I do that. Basically, you can send any Phantom Knight monster from your deck to the grave. Then you get to set a Phantom Knight spell or trap. So you can set, again, Shade Brigadier if you want to summon run another combo extender. You can set the Fog Blade. Then you can just send any one of these cards to the grave, like Phantom Knights directly to the grave, just for comboing off, adding more cards and more extending. We've got 1 copy of Cherubini. Cherubini is absolutely fantastic. Any 2 level 3 monsters makes Cherubini. And Cherubini can send any monster from your deck to the graveyard, or any level 3 monster. So again, depending, right, you can send Graph, then Graph can resurrect Sir. Just these 2 alone can make Rusty Bardiche. Then Sir's ability will resurrect Cherubini. You can send the Phantom Knight's Boots if you've already got Torn Scales in the graveyard, because then you can banish this, add a trap card, Torn Scales resurrects. Depending on what you need to do, depends on what you send. And the best bit about Cherubini, it sends for cost. So even if your opponent, like Imperms, Effect Veilers, Fog Blades you, or whatever, Cherubini's effect will still go through because it activates for cost. IP Masquerena, really great. Just basically use Masquerena with, like, say, our monsters during your opponent's turn, so then you can go into Appaloosa more negates, or go into Unicorn, and any monster using Masquerena cannot be destroyed by card effects. Using Anaconda, because like any 2 effect monsters makes Anaconda, and you bring out a Dragoon on top of having Fog Blades and everything else. So all around, fantastic end board. Link Spider, because like I say, Phantom Eyes of Shade Brigadier is a normal monster. You cannot use Anaconda with a normal monster. It's got to be 2 effect monsters. So you can link it off for Link Spider, and then it becomes a effect monster. Then you can just link the Link Spider off for Anaconda. Then we're using 1 copy of Almirage because you say you've got Torn Scales and any Phantom Knight's monster in your hand, and then the Torn Scales gets like Ash Blossom or stuff like that. You can just link it away for Almirage, then just like banish whichever like Phantom Knights you had in the grave. That summons back Torn Scale or monster reborn the Torn Scale, and then you've got 2 monsters in play again. So again, you can still play through, go into like an Anaconda and some Dragoons, even if your like 1 card starter did get banished or did get negated. So all in all, great. Onto the sides, guys. Personal preference, I'm choosing 2 copies of Nibiru in case I go up against like heavy combo decks. Nibiru can be there to stop them down, can like slow them down. Like if they summon more than 5 monsters, there's just GG's. You can just like get rid of the whole board. 2 copies of Lancia because a lot of decks like to banish. Like you can stop Eldritch for a turn. You can stop. Is it Drytron or Virtual Wood? You can stop a lot of decks with Lancia just by preventing them from like banishing. Like Tri-Brigades, Lancia alone just stops them dead. We're running 3 copies of Cycle Reader for against the Eldritch matchup and against Drytron because you can just banish this, target 2 lights in the grave, and banish them. All Drytrons are light near enough, and Eldritch is light as well. So Cycle Reader just outs them. Using Harpy's Feather Duster in case we're going up against like back heavy decks like Eldritch and all that a lot, because then you can just like nuke the board. Yeah, have a nice day. Lightning Storm in case we have to go second, because again, it's like having another copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. You can nuke the back row, you can nuke monsters. So it's like it forces your opponent to use up a negate. If they didn't like have it, then you can just do your plays. Like say you're steering down Dragoon, then they don't want to lose the back row of Lightning Storm. Play Lightning Storm, nuke the back row, then they have to negate it with Dragoon. Then you can do your plays without having to be feared of the Dragoon. Using 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone in case we go up against the like Outlich, because again, like back row heavy decks like Outlich, they don't want the cards to go. They don't want the cards to be banished. They want to go to the grave. Cosmic Cyclone just flat out banishes. Have a nice day. You don't need to worry about it. Then we've got 1 copy of Imperial Order in case you go up against like a lot of like spell decks. Imperial Order just shuts them down completely, because realistically, apart from like Droplet or Organized Fusion, Imperial Order is not going to affect us really one little bit. And then Red Reboot in case we go up against trap heavy decks again, just to help us against the Red Reboot. It's basically the trap. It's basically the trap version of Imperial Order. It just shuts down traps for a turn, and then just lets you combo off or just lets you OTK. So that's the reason why I run Red Reboot. And that's it for the deck, guys. I want to highly stress that again. This is not my own word. This is what I got from doing a lot of like searching around, like looking at other people's decks. So I will post it in the description down below. So without any further ado, guys, take care. I will see you in the replays and have a great day or night. Okay, guys, starting us off, is against I think it was against Carl. Carl's going to go first playing the Rhoda. I could, of course, fire this off with the Ash Blossom. And it turns out he's playing Golki. I mean, who plays Golki 2021? Obviously, Carl does. Obviously, Golkis are really great. Going to go into a Stoll. Stoll gets his monster. Basically, just do a lot of warrior plays. Gets Golki rematch. So he's going to go into some great, like couple of like some great link play. Some incredible link plays because you get to go like Golki rematch and bring back 2 monsters. He already goes into Appaloosa, so now I can't. Now with Appaloosa, basically trying to shut down my monster effects. Plays Golki rematch, summons out 2 more monsters, which he then goes into Codebreaker Virus Swordsman. To be honest, I don't really have a clue what's going on. I don't really know what the Codebreaker cards do. I know Goki's normally run them, but I don't understand what they do. I think he just keeps bringing back all of his cards. It's really, really weird. He's going to go into his own Rusty Bardiche, try and get some Pog Blades, because why would you not go for the Pog Blade? And then he's going to add Silent Boots, because he controls a Phantom Knights monster. He can now link them both off for another Verte Anaconda. I think he's not running another Fog Blade, because he's not banishing the Silent Boots. But now we've got a Dragoon stare down as well. So, Appaloosa, a Dragoon, and we have a Fog Blade to contend with. What do? Guys, we play Forbidden Droplet. Out 2 monsters, we're outing the Grav and the Ancient Cloak, because if we get rid of our own Dark Magician, we can't go into our own Dragoon. And also, Tornscale is a 1-card starter. So because we've discarded 2 monsters, he can't negate this with the Dragoon. So now we banish the Ancient Cloak to add the Boots to hand, summon out Tornscales, and of course we have the Phantom Knights, summon out the Boots. Link them both off into Cherubini. He then plays Fogblade, hoping to stop Cherubini's ability. But like I say, Cherubini can use its ability for cost. So we get to send Sir resurrects Graf. Then we go into our own Rusty Bardiche. Then we banish Boots to resurrect Tornscale because the monster was banished. So Tornscale resurrects. We add the Shade Brigadine because it's a combo extender. We can set it. Activate it because we have no traps in the graveyard, so we'll go and link it away into our, I think it's Link Spider, because then it's 2 effect monsters, really great. Go into Anaconda, which you can see what's going to come, guys. We're going to go into our own Anaconda play. Then Rusty Bardiche lets me set a Fog Blade. Go into our own Dragoon. Dragoon is then going to pop his Rusty Bardiche, deal damage, and then I'm going to pop his Anaconda. The reason I go for these is because it's the original attack. Then I just swing over his Dragoon, and then I attack into Appaloosa. And that, I think he's going to be left with like 500 life points. So basically, if he doesn't out Dragoon, we pretty much win. It's like, as long as we can protect Dragoon, we are Gucci. So what he does is summons out the Super X. Super X lets him summon out a Goki from the deck. I believe he banishes the Fog Blade to summon out Rusty Bardiche again. Goes back into his Stold. Then he gets all of his cards back. Haven't got a clue what he's doing. Goki rematch, and he's got then he summons Flint Lady because he controls a warrior. And it uses his Stold's ability to summon out another Flint Lady. He links them all off into Access Code Talker, hoping to attack over Dragoon. because he used Ishtar, who's a Link 2, he's going to gain 2,000 life, 2,000 attack points, hoping to swing over Dragoon. We're going to play the Fog Blade to negate this attack, so that means Dragoon is safe. And if he actually had played Aztec's Code Talker's ability to banish, to banish one of his links and then out Fog Blade, I think we may have lost, but he didn't do it, so unfortunately for him. Then he's going to add another Fog Blade to hand, and then plays Goku Rematch, brings back 2 of his monsters, and then he links into, I think he links his monsters all off Unchained Abomination, but again, Abomination can't target or destroy Dragoon, so there's nothing he can do. The writing's off the wall. We literally just destroy Rusty Bardiche, and we win. So GG's, boys. That's what it is. That's what the deck's all about. So it's all about just summoning, like trying to set up as many negates while playing through boards. Right, we have actually got a good hand. We've got 1 card starter, Monster Reborn, and we've got 2 hand traps. Really great. Summon out Taunt Scales, hoping to play Taunt Scales' ability, but he plays Dimension Shifter, so now all of our cards are going to get banished. I literally just set the Droplet and pass. Hopefully the Droplet is there to like help. He plays Red Eyes Fusion, and I negate with Ash Blossom. But because he played Red Eyes Fusion, he can no longer summon monsters. He's got a set, so he plays Part of Duality, and because like any Guru player you go up against, they always get Guru turn 1. So he's most probably setting Guru, and then he sets 1 card face down, and that ends his turn. We draw Tour Guide, we fire off that Tour Guide, use her ability to summon out a monster. He Ash Blossoms this, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. We've got 2 level 3 monsters. We go off into Cherubini. Cherubini sends Graf. Graf summons out Surf from the deck. Now we've got everything we need to go into Rusty Bardiche. Because Sir went to the graveyard, we can resurrect Cherubini. Because the reason I do this is because if you resurrected Sir or Libic off, no, Graf or Libic off Sir's ability, this is going to be destroyed because Cherubini is not protecting them. So by resurrecting Cherubini, you're guaranteed to have a monster remaining on the field. However, he decides to fire off Super Polymerization, linking off both my fusion off both my monsters into Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. However, we have that Monster Reborn in our hand, boys, so we just resurrect Rusty Bardiche, and it's like we didn't even get Super Polyed. So now, Rusty Bardiche's ability can send a Phantom Knight to the grave like Ancient Cloak. Reset Shade Brigadine. Activate Shade Brigadine, summon out a monster. I was going to do now, guys, is banish Ancient Cloak, because then that lets me add like Silent Boots to hand. But then, because Ancient Cloak will be banished, Taunt Scale gets summoned back to the field. That's what the play I was going for. However, the opponent scoops, and that's it. So what I was going to do, like I say, go into like summon out a lot of monsters, go into Dragoon, pop his monsters. If he tried to activate Starving Venom's ability to nuke my field, just activate Dragoon's ability, discard the card, have a nice day. It wouldn't have mattered to me. So that's what I was going to do, but unfortunately he left, so we couldn't do it. So now we're up against Pat. This, I'm just going to show you what happens if you don't really get hand trapped. So summon out the Taunt Scales alone. So now we just activate Taunt Scales' ability. I pitch a Fog Blade because I can use it for a Monster Reborn. So we banish Ancient Cloak to add the boots. Then again, link them off to Cherubini. This is just a standard play. I go into Graph. It's just a standard play to easily go into Rusty Bardiche and setting up your field. So now we banish Ancient Boots, Scopes, bring out Taunt Scale, go into Rusty Bardiche. Rusty Bardiche resurrects, then Sir resurrects Cherubini. We set Fog Blade and send send Ragged Gloves. Banish Fog Blade, summon out Ragged Gloves. Now we can set and activate Shade Brigadine. You can really tell we are not respecting Nibiru with this. We're going to go link into Link Spider, go into Anaconda, and then our other 2 Phantom Knights go into IP Mask Galena. Because now we can go into Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and then we set another Fog Blade. So we've got 2 Fog Blades set, Dragoon, and then we can use IP and Anaconda during Pat's turn to go into Appaloosa, or we can go into Nightmare Unicorn. But Pat immediately fires off Imperm. targeting Masquerena. So because it's got nothing really in play, there's no point to go into Unicorn. So I just go into Appaloosa for another 2 monster negates. And then he summons out his Loyal Jonglung, or whatever the card's called. I cannot pronounce Ancient Warrior Monster's effect. He summons a monster and then tries to pop one of my cards. We just play Fogblade, negates effect, and also stops it from attacking. Really great. He then plays Tenki. I decide not to negate this. I then play Drolls to stop him from adding any other cards. He plays Tensu, hoping to get like more normal summons off. I use this with Dragoon because I don't want him to keep normal summoning. He then normal summons out Sun Moon because he hasn't normal summoned anything yet. He then goes into his battle phase, hoping to swing over Appaloosa. Then we just play the other Fogblade, stop his Phone Link from attacking me. So now he can't. So now we've ate up everything. He now just passes his turn. We draw. We use Dragoon's ability to pop both of his monsters, and then we just use Dragoon to attack the game because it's just over lethal. And that alone can show you the power of a single Dragoon, boys and girls. So now we're up against Code. And I believe Code's going first. He's playing Wind Witches. So you obviously know what the typical Wind Witch go first card is. It's going to Crystal Wing. Crystal Wing being made with Ice Spell, which means it can't be destroyed by card effects. So it means even if I go into Dragoon, Dragoon cannot destroy Crystal Wing, unfortunately. So basically, my only out to this is basically going to Dragoon to out his field. And hope to God he doesn't have anything like to stop me. So that's what we're going to have to do. So what we do is we summon out the Torn Scale. It is the best summon. Then we're going to play Torn Scale's ability. Weirdly, he doesn't negate this. I thought I was baiting out his effect. Weirdly, he did not negate this. So whatever floats his boat. We use Fogblade to resurrect our Ancient Cloak. Then we summon out Silent Boots. Then we're going to link both our monsters off, going to Cherubini. Cherubini's ability activates. Again, he's still not negating this. I think he's like trying to snipe like a specific ability. I'm not sure what he's trying to snipe, but he isn't negating any of this. We then summon out Libic because we have, because why not? It's just another extender, and also Cherubini will protect Libic from being destroyed. So what happens if you draw it? Go into the Rusty Bardiche. Sir's ability resurrects Cherubini. I still don't know why he's not negating any of this. We summon out Psychic Wielder because why not? Free summon. We then go into Appaloosa. So now he's wasted his time. Crystal Wing can no longer negate any of my cards. Have a nice day. We banish Silent Boots from play to add Fogblade. This resurrects Torn Scale. We set the Fog... No, I use Rusty Bardiche's ability to set another Fogblade. We use... we banish Ancient Cloak to add the Shade Brigadine. Set and activate the Shade Brigadine. Why not? This lets me go to Link Spider. Then I can go into Anaconda to bring out Dragoon. The reason why I'm going to Dragoon is because Dragoon can out the Crystal Wing by attack points. Because he's already tried to play Crystal Wing's ability. Appaloosa negates. So Appaloosa is a little bit weaker, but now I can swing into his monster without any fear that Dragoon won't get negated. Crystal Wing's ability tries to activate. I discard my danger, stop Crystal Wing's ability from triggering, and then they destroy themselves. Then he tries to activate Wind Pegasus at Agnista to banish one of my cards back into the deck, or shuffle one of my cards back into the deck. This eats another negate from Appaloosa. Then he summons out his Wind Charmer because the Wind monster was destroyed. Then we just attack over the Wind Charmer, dealing a little bit of damage. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Then we set the other Fogblade. So we've still got 3 monster negates, 2 Fogblades and Appaloosa. It's still something. Against a lot of decks, that is a lot. So hopefully this is enough to win. He draws and activates Dark Ruler no more. So now we can no longer activate Appaloosa's ability, but we still have those 2 Fogblades to help us. He then just goes into his battle phase with Blizzard Bell. This eats up a Fogblade, stop him from attacking us. I don't want him to, and that's enough for that. We draw. I draw and summon out Kagamucha Knight. I link my monsters off into Access Code Talker. Access Code targets Appaloosa, so now it gains 4,000 more attack points, and then we banish one of our links from our graveyard to out his Blizzard Bell, and then access code and Rusty Bardiche attacks the game. And hopefully this helps guys just like summoning our monsters. Like basically you kind of see what I'm trying to do like every turn, so it's basically just nice and easy. And going up against this Alexandrox guy, I still don't even know what deck this guy playing. I play Rhoda to add the Kagamucha Knight since I already have Torn Scales in my hand. Because we summoned out a level 3 monster, Kagamucha Knight gets summoned to the field. This plays Torn Scales' ability to out the cloak, sent a Fog Blade, because again it's a monster reborn for the deck. We then go and add Boots, summon out Boots. Then I'm going to link into Cherubini yet again, just doing the same things like I've been doing every other duel. Go into Graph, use Graph's ability to summon out Sir. Use Sir to go into Rusty Bardiche. Sir resurrects Cherubini back from the graveyard. Then we can summon out Psychic Wielder because we have a level 3 monster. This goes into IP Masquerena. Because we banished Phantom Knights from the graveyard, this summons out Torn Scales, and because it was Silent Boost, we had another Fog Blade to hand. This goes into Anaconda. Anaconda then lets me send the Red Eyes Fusion, but I chain with the Fog Blade to resurrect Ragged Boots. The reason why I chained the Fog Blade to summon out Ragged Gloves is because next turn I can use Masquerena, the Boots, and Anaconda to go into a 3-stage Appaloosa rather than a 2-stage. Gives me more negates on that Appaloosa. So now we get Dragoon. So we've got Dragoon, 2 Fog Blades, and a 3-stage Appaloosa. That is not a bad opening hand. However, our opponent just immediately scoops. So again, I don't even know what deck he was playing. Kind of unfortunate, but sometimes you just don't draw it. Again, this is against Carl. This is the other match I just wanted to show because it's kind of like, this was to go second. I sided in I sided in like Lightning Storm, which you can clearly see. So Carl kind of breaks. He sets 2 cards face down, and that ends Carl's turn. I have Lightning Storm. I play it out his back row. Instead of going for game, for some reason, I just did my normal plays. Summon out Jackalope, play Tracker, go to Cherubini, and I just basically set up. I didn't go for game. He had 3 cards in hand. I was like, I'm not really scared, but because I hard drew Red Eyes Black Dragon, it kind of hurt my hand a little bit. But yeah, I just basically just did my normal plays and just didn't go for game. I just tried to like set up negates of any couldn't do anything. I didn't use my normal summons like summon out Torn Scales and just do the whole thing again. You see what I mean? Because I say if I just didn't top deck Red Eyes Black Dragoon. Red Eyes Black Dragon, I wouldn't be in this situation, but sometimes you do. Torn Scales resurrects, go into Anaconda. So yeah, I think I have. We'll go into Appaloosa for 2 negates, Dragoon for a negate, and we have a Fog Blade set. So that's what we end up doing. Again, I think I could have gone for game, I just chose not to. I don't know why. I think I could have gone into like access code for game. I think I could have done that, but for some reason I just didn't. I don't even know why. I could have done, but I just didn't. I even checked my graveyard, like what I could have done. I think I could have actually done it because I have Cherubini in the graveyard, so I could have actually just gone into access code for game. He then goes out into his Goki Guts. I then link off my monsters for an Appaloosa. He sets a card, summons out Flint Lady, links both his monsters off into an Ishtold. Instead of playing Appaloosa's ability, I fire off the Fog Blade because that will negate both of Ishtold's abilities because she does have 2 abilities. So I just negate them both flat out with Fog Blade. So now I don't need to worry about the Ishtold one little bit. Then he plays Ishtold's ability again because of the Fog Blade it is banished. Oh sorry, it is negated, and he just ends his turn. And because he's got bang on 600 life points, Dragoon ends the duel with his ability. Kind of great. This is the other duel against Drox. Again, this is what I mean by I didn't know what deck he was playing. This was just a little cheeky one, guys. Again, I sided in Lightning Storm because I'm like, right, he's gonna go first, not me. That's what normally happens when you go second. Like when you're siding, he literally just sets 2 cards, summons a monster. He sets a monster and passes. I top deck Lightning Storm for my siding. I literally just activated Lightning Storm because trying out his back row, and the guy just flat out leaves. So It's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, sometimes it just didn't have it. Sometimes you just don't get it. But yeah, guys, that's it for the deck. That's it for the replays. I just hope this kind of helps, like, show what the deck kind of wants to do. But yeah, without any further ado, guys, if you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up or subscribing. Everyone just help out the channel grow. And without any further ado, guys, take care and goodbye.